I'll call you. I'll call you.
It's your microphone.
Can we rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, we lift up our sailors, soldiers, airmen, Marines, and guardsmen into your loving care. Protect our nation from all that is evil. Guide our way through these difficult times. Amen.
All right, first up is roll call. Mr. Resnick,
Yes.
Mr. Braun,
Yes.
Chair is here. Ms. Borelli,
Here, sorry.
Mr. Gorman,
Here.
Mr. Cannon,
Yes, here.
Mr. Swan,
Here. Yes.
Mr. Fagioli. Okay, I'll let the record show everyone is present. Next up is citizens' participation. Any members of the public wishing to make a statement may do so for a period of 3 minutes. Come up to the mic and give your name and address, please. All right, seeing none. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the March 19th council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Fagioli made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gorman made a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the April 2nd caucus meeting.
So moved.
Mr. Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Braun seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next up, we have a presentation from a representative from the Red Cross.
Good evening. Thank you so much for letting us take a few minutes of your meeting. My name is Mary Ann Santangelo. I am the Delaware County Community Volunteer Leader for the American Red Cross. And with me is Fred Neiman, ex-firefighter, and the Delaware County Disaster Action Team Coordinator. So it's really fun being here in Clifton because it's so near and dear to my heart. I was in Springfield for over 20 years, and now I'm in Marshall, but I still go to Walt Steaks. I met my husband at Bungalow Inn. My in-laws have a long history with your mayor, so it's really cool to be here. So why are we here? Well, we meet with elected officials, township managers, anyone responsible for the well-being of their community all over the southeastern Pennsylvania region. We're in the secret region, Philadelphia and the suburbs. And the reason we meet with them is because we want to make sure they know about all of the services the Red Cross offers to help you stay safe and resilient in the face of an emergency or to prepare for an emergency.
I'll think your mic's on. Turn your mic on.
Turn it off.
Turn it on.
I don't think it's on. Can you hear me? I've never needed a mic.
No, we can hear you. Just
Thank you so much. It's flashing. Is it flashing? Does it hear better, guys?
No.
Is it good? Should I do it?
could be.
This can't count for my time.
We hear.
There you go.
Is that it?
Oh, there we go. Now you can hear it.
Now I have to hear my voice. That's not good. Okay, so everybody knows we're in the disaster business, right? All you have to do is turn on the news when there's a local disaster or a disaster anywhere in the country. You see the Red Cross, or they're at the scene. Fred goes all over the place whenever there's he gets deployed, and he does the big job. But there's more to disaster than just being there to help the people who were displaced. Under the disaster umbrella, we have a whole preparedness program because, just as Ben Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we believe strongly in being prepared for emergencies because the more you're prepared, the better able you are to minimize the impact it would have on you. So we have emergency preparedness programs for students, starting with kindergarten all the way up to through high school. A few weeks ago, I was at Holy Cross. We did 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade with the program. And I was really happy to see a lot of Clifton Heights students there. That made me happy. We have a counterpart to that for adults. We'll go to community centers. Is this not working? Is this echoing
A little bit, yeah.
a little?
Bring it up a little bit.
Bring it up like this. We'll go into community centers or senior
Taking
centers.
a feedback speaker right there. And one
Yeah, you
over
can.
there. There's one over there.
We can hear you.
We'll go to community centers or senior centers, businesses who ask us to come in, and we'll do emergency preparedness there. And we often, for adults, add on hands-on CPR training, which is really valuable because, as you probably know, most people who suffer cardiac arrest don't do it in the hospital. So a bystander is more likely than anyone to help someone survive if they know how to administer it properly, and they do it quickly. So again, if anyone has a school that you think we should be in, or if you're part of a community group and you want us to come in and do that program, it's completely free. I have my business cards here. I'll give it to you, let me know, and we will arrange it. So that's all kind of the umbrella hat, the preparedness hat. Fred's going to talk about how we help homes stay safer through our fire smoke detector installation, but I'll leave it for Fred. The other thing that you know we do is blood. We're in the blood business. The Red Cross collects and processes and distributes more blood than any other organization. And if you are a blood donor, thank you, because you're a lifesaver. Or if you're thinking about it, you should know that any blood collected in the southeastern Pennsylvania region stays here. Unlike other parts of the country where they might collect blood and get it to another place. Because of all of the major medical facilities we have here, it's nice to know that the blood you give is staying close to home. If anyone has any ability to have connections with a place that might be appropriate to host the blood drive, we would love that. There's no cost to it. There's some specifications of the kind of room it has to be. But the more locations we can be in, the more people will donate, because people like to do it when it's convenient. And that's more blood for you or your families if and when they need it. So that's it. But we like to say, we're not just blood and floods. We have a lot of other programs we do. Fred's going to talk about the whole issue of responding to emergencies and how we help those people. We also have a whole lot of certification programs. They do cost money, but you can become certified in full CPR, AED, first aid, pediatric first aid, burns, cuts, choking, all of that. That's a paid certification program. And for students, especially now that the summer is almost here, we have babysitting, lifeguarding, water safety, things like that you can become certified in. And it's just all to help us deliver the mission of preventing human suffering. Preventing and alleviating human suffering, because that's what the Red Cross is. And then the last thing I'll just mention is our service to the armed forces. A lot of people aren't aware of our robust program. We help servicemen before they are deployed, or women, before deployment. We help them prepare for deployment. While they're deployed, if their families need help, it may be financial help, it may be emotional help, or maybe they need to notify someone in the service because of an emergency at home. We have a worldwide network. We can find those people after the service. We have reconstruction workshops, helping them get acclimated back into society, recognizing post-traumatic stress. We're in the VA hospital every day, attending to veterans, as well as service people. So there's a lot of programs. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But again, I thank you, and I'll ask Fred to really cover disaster response. And if anyone has any questions, please see us. Thanks, Fred.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you for your time. So I grew up in the Hilldale section. I still live there, been there for, I don't want to say how long, it's been a long time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the disaster action team. I'm the disaster action team coordinator for Delaware County. What we basically do is respond to disasters, mostly house fires, flooding, that sort of thing. And our mission is really to provide immediate assistance for folks. And we responded plenty in Clifton. We have a really good group of volunteers. We're all volunteers. We respond. We provide services for folks to get through the 2 days of the crisis. And then we have caseworkers that stay with them to help them find additional resources. We do provide some financial assistance. It's basically just designed to get through the next 3 or 4 days of there until they can get onto where they can recover in another place, and we try to help them find that. We have what's unique in the country. We have essentially it's a hotel. It's a 26-room hotel located in West Philadelphia. It's called the Red Cross House. It's in near Drexel University. And folks, if they're affected by a disaster, they can recover there free of charge. We provide 3 meals a day free of charge. It's all secure, and it's a really wonderful place. And so a lot of folks that in Delaware County will utilize that facility. So we're really lucky to have it. It's the only one in the entire nation like that. We were lucky enough to have it donated to us years ago. So besides the financial assistance and immediate assistance we provide, we also have mental health groups that help with counseling. That do spiritual counseling, mental health counseling. We also provide some assistance if folks need prescriptions after a disaster, or medical services like CPAP machines, that sort of thing. We also, unfortunately, the tragedy that happened in East Lansdowne a couple of months ago, we actually provided mental health services for the township, for the residents, and also for the first responders, because obviously that was a very traumatic event. So we were involved in it. We do provide that. It's all free of charge. The Red Cross is funded 100% by donations, and everything is free of charge. So that's basically our disaster action team. We respond day and night. It's a call usually either from the fire chief or emergency management or someone, but anyone can call 1-800-RED CROSS if they need assistance from a disaster. What we don't do, and we get a lot of phone calls, unfortunately, we don't handle things like landlord issues. So if your landlord cut your power off, we can't respond to something like that. But if it's any kind of disaster, we'll respond and do our best to help the folks. And the other program we talked about was our Home Fire campaign, Home Fire Safe. So we provide free smoke detectors to anybody who wants them. We'll come into the home if they call us, and we'll go through the house and make sure it's safe, and we'll provide free 10-year smoke detectors. They last for 10 years. The only thing is we have to install them. We don't just give them to folks. We want to make sure they're installed and they're working properly. Anybody can call us and we'll come out and install them. If folks are not sure about whether their smoke detectors are operational, we'll come and take a look at them and make sure they're okay. And while we do that, we also talk to the homeowner about fire safety operation and getting out of the house. So like a home fire drill and all that sort of thing. So we make sure people understand the problem with fire. And all those services are completely free. And all I have to do is make a phone call to us. And I have the number here. You have the number.
I have a little card. If anyone knows of someone or you yourself would like us to come and install smoke detectors, the little business card with the phone number. It's below me. When all else fails, call 1-800-RED CROSS. Tell them what you're calling about.
Right.
And they'll direct you where you need.
And we also install special devices for hearing impaired. So we have bed shakers. We also have strobe smoke detection for those who are hearing impaired. And the one thing I didn't mention about the disaster action team, so in larger events, apartment fires, that sort of thing, when multiple folks are displaced, we do all run a shelter operations. We'll find a large building. We use a lot of schools that will house people. We can fully staff that. We provide food for the folks. We try to help them relocate until they can get back into the business. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
you.
much.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. All right, next we have reports of the borough officers. First up is the financial advisor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. The revenue is rolling in. Our tax collector has collected 79% of the rubbish sanitation, the sanitation, sewer, and taxes. And on the average, in total, we've collected about 62% of our revenue, budgeted revenue already. Our expenses are in line. It's early yet. I know that the manager and we'll be planning later in the summer, as we hit the summer, to determine, if we need any rebudgeting. But right now, we're moving along quite well, and nothing unanticipated has happened. Yes, sir.
Just two items I want to make sure get recorded. One is we're giving the first stats of money to the fire company this year with the $25,000 commitment for the ambulance. We're doing half now and half in October. It's just the fire company with operational costs, and remember that goes towards our ambulances. And then the second, next month, we'll be giving the $10,000 to both community organizations, the Boys Club and the POW. This is our second year for the carnival cancellation to help them assist in their program. So I just want to put that on. Those checks go out in May. That's all. Thank you.
Any questions for the financial advisor? All right.
Just respectfully request that the bills be approved.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial advisor's report and pay the bills.
I will so move.
All right. Mr. Resnick made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gorman, second. I will do a roll call. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
Right, motion carries. Next up is the police chief's report.
I have nothing for that.
All right, any questions for the police chief? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the police chief's report.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next up is the fire chief. Do we have anything from the fire chief?
Chief called today. He's unavailable, but he submitted his report last month, and there's no changes.
Okay. All right.
Last 2 weeks ago, right?
Any questions regarding fire chief's report? I'll entertain a motion to accept the fire chief's report.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Gorman made the motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Swan seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next up is the engineer's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few things to bring to council's attention. Excuse me. This year's road program, we've developed a preliminary scope of work for this year's road program. Provided council agrees, I'll review that scope with the borough manager and prepare bidding documents and specifications. I would expect to have those bids in front of council ready for your consideration at the June meeting. And on the passive park improvements, we have a pre-construction and contract review meeting with the folks at OHCD scheduled for next week. Once they are satisfied with the specifications and the contractor's questionnaire, we will issue a notice to proceed. And that's all I have to bring to your attention to my engineer's report.
Do we have any questions for the engineer? I'll entertain a motion to accept the engineer's report.
I will so move.
All right, Mr. Resnick made the motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Mr. Fagioli, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the solicitor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't have any action items for council's attention tonight, and really nothing beyond the informational items presented at the caucus meeting.
Do we have any questions for the solicitor? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the solicitor's report.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Gorman made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cannon made the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, community development and code enforcement.
Thank you, Madam President. I do not have any additions to my prepared report.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Mr. Gould? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the community development and code enforcement report.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Ms. Borelli made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Braun seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. I would like to request that you allow it to put my report at the end. We have a presentation on the Oak Avenue. So I don't want to tie everybody up.
Okay.
JP and I thought it'd be best at the end to have a little more of a robust conversation.
Okay.
Let the reports in the matter. Then we'll
So
take it
like
from there.
under
That's all I have.
old business or new business?
John, you, I think you just bring them, if you
Okay.
make an amendment, the managers report it's at the end of the meeting.
Okay. All right. So we'll put a pause on the manager's report and we'll move forward to council reports. Mr. Swan, do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay. Mr. Resnick.
Yes, on Saturday, April 27th, between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, local scouts are having a car wash at St. Stephen's Church in Baltimore Pike. Welcome anybody who wants to get the car washed. Thank you.
What time, I'm sorry?
10 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. Anything else? Okay. Mr. Fagioli.
Yes, I'd like to thank one of our residents on Windsor Lane in our ward, bringing up what a problem we had down there to our attention and the fast response for John Gould getting out there and taking care of that problem for that street. Also involved in this and helping us out was our officers patrolling the street every 20 minutes, making sure everything was safe. I just want to thank them.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Cannon, do you have anything?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Mr. Braun?
Nothing to report, no.
All right. Ms. Borelli?
Nothing to report, thank you.
All right. I guess I want to thank our highway department. I noticed they got started with the lawn cutting because I know that that is something that they have taken over. I know the area near my house looks really, really nice, much better job than what had been happening before. So I wanted to thank them for their efforts. I noticed. So, and that's all I have. Mr. Gorman, do you have anything?
Do. Last Friday night, I had the pleasure of spending the evening with the duty crew at the firehouse. For those of you that don't know, there's a group of about 10, 11, 12 guys that spend almost the entire weekend in the firehouse. They just renovated, repainted everything, put in a bunk room, and these guys stay there for free as a service to this borough. The response times that the fire company puts out now at night is absolutely incredible. They're on the street within 2 minutes because of these guys. And Friday night, I had the honor and pleasure of treating everybody to dinner up there. And it was a fun night. I got to spend with them. And if you're ever around on a Friday night, you want to stop by, see these guys, say hello, just bang on the door. They're always in there. And that's all I got.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam President. Before I go into my report, I have a citizens presentation I would like to talk about and give out. So I got on council in 2017, and I was appointed, which was very lucky to have that appointment. Then I ran I've been on vice president for a couple years, and then last 3 years I've been the mayor of Clifton Heights. The one name that has come up many, many times was Lynn Amy. And I wrote down on a piece of paper on some of the things that Lynn Amy was involved in or just been around. So, long time ago, when I coached the boys club, Lynn Amy was there. I coached for 10 years. So Lynn was on the boys club, then she left the boys club, and now she's back into the boys club. And that's Lynn. Lynn just comes out when you need her. She's always at all the events. The PAL Club, 4th of July committee, she was on the planning committee here. She's been involved in the hometown banners with me. Frost Fest, also with me. Clifton Heights Business Association, she's always at the annual Easter egg hunt. She's the first one there, she's the last one to leave. The Clifton Heights Cleanup Day, the annual Christmas tree lighting, the 9/11 Memorial, and Memorial Day celebration. And I wrote any other fundraiser. So if you have a fundraiser, Lynn Amy is the person that you want to bring up. Lynn, can you come up, please? So we're awarding Lynn Amy. This is the first of the Mayor Community Service Award presented to Lynn Amy in great appreciation of the years of outstanding service and dedication to the residents of Clifton Heights Borough. Okay, thank you. Now to the mayor's report. I'll try to make it as fast as possible. Just a couple of dates. April the 23rd is our primary election. The borough office will be closed. That's a Tuesday. April the 27th, Alden Municipal Lot. It's a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. is having an e-cycling and drug take back. So we are allowed to go to Alden Borough to do that. The hometown hero banners will be starting again on 7/14. You can call the American Legions if you haven't gotten a banner yet and you would like to put one up for your veteran in your family. Fast note, I mentioned the Easter egg hunt was very, very successful. I'd like to thank Suzanne Brittis and, of course, Lynn Amy. Without them, that event doesn't happen. And the last thing is the National Telecommunication Week. That's our emergency service 911. So if you know anyone in the 911 service, thank them because it's the National Telecommunication Week. That's all I have, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Raposi?
Thank you. As some of the council, I sent out an email that we had some concerns. I believe it was the weekend of whatever holiday it was.
It's,
Easter, right?
yeah.
It was Easter weekend. We received calls from the residents of Oak Avenue, reference to a letter that went out from the school district engineering firm advising them about parking situations for the future school. By the time I got into it by Tuesday with John, the solicitor, and myself, we realized that's just a standard procedure. I don't think it was anything nefarious or anything like that. I just think it just happened to be. That's what they do. They're engineers. It's on their desk. They shoot it out. Unfortunately, it's the night before a holiday. You can't get any information. It was the first we heard about it. Since then, through those communications, we have drawings that have been resubmitted to the state because we advised them that those residents do not have parking at all on that. It's on the, we'll show in a minute. And then from there, we also wanted to make sure that the drawings that we received for Springfield Road are more depicted on what is going to happen there. That's been part of it. So, John, before I put it up on the screen, if you want to say anything else about that before JP picks up, or you want to? No? All right. Lost the words. JP is going to give a presentation on what those drawings mean. We dumbed them down, what we call dumbed them down. We got rid of all the utilities and all the other things that were busy that we really couldn't see. I thought it'd be a good opportunity for council because they are looking for an answer on what correct me, JP, if you're wrong. What we prefer on Oak Avenue, there's 3 options, and we would like to look at those options.
Correct.
See what council could weigh in, so, go ahead, JP. You can-
As a result of Gilmore Associates trying to obtain a PennDOT permit, part of the process is to send letters to residents along any improvements, and that's what triggered the letters that were sent out prior to Easter. Tom got involved, and John and myself got involved with Gilmore and told them we were not satisfied with what was being proposed. As a result of that conversation, they submitted these 3 plans that we can look at now. This first plan that's on the screen shows the improvements primarily on this screen, along Springfield. And you can see along Springfield, directly in front of the proposed school, there's a dedicated right lane straight through and a dedicated
JP,
left.
you want me to try to show you know?
Right, yes, exactly where the cursor is. There's an on the other side of the cursor. There's a left lane, dedicated left lane turn. And then across the street from that, you'll see a straight, a dedicated left and a right lane, straight and right, which would then bring you to Oak Avenue. Let's go to the next slide, please. The presentation. Yes, this is the one. Can you? Yes, exactly, John. Thank you. So in this case, you can see on Oak, after you make a right from Springfield in the north southwest quadrant, you'll see that there's a dedicated left, a straight through, and a dedicated or a straight through and right lane, each signified by 12 feet, 11 feet, or 14 feet. And this is the area that became very problematic. This is where the parking would have been further restricted and removed. In this particular screen, the other 2 options that they have provided, they have changed the left lane length and the taper length. This particular one that we're looking at, the taper on this is only 50 feet, and the left turn lane is 78 feet, which allows for about 5 parking locations to remain closer to the Prospect intersection.
That's not fair.
The other 2 screens that you'll see, they've more or less played around with the length of the left lane and the taper. So this has the 78-foot left and 73-foot taper. And then the next one, if you would, John, has the 150-foot left and 73-foot taper lane shift, which allows for very little or no parking where John has the cursor. So the question then becomes, what's the best option? What is the best to satisfy the traffic at this intersection? And maintain some parking. So the shorter the taper and the shorter the left lane allows for more parking on near the intersection of Prospect. We have sent these plans to Al Federico, the traffic engineer that the borough uses for situations like this, and he has been involved from day one when the school was proposed. He's familiar with this. He asked if borough would consider removing the left dedicated lane, and I don't know if that's an option with PennDOT, to tell you the truth. It may not be. I think that may be problematic when your peak traffic hours, but it's something that maybe we could work through with PennDOT to see whether or not that's an option. And in that case, we could keep the parking the way it is right now.
In the case that's number 3, I think it is, with the 5 spots,
Yes.
one we have here, right?
Yes.
I believe when we looked at, we bring the street scope up, John. When you look at the street scope, the first house has a driveway, the second house has a driveway.
Yes.
It's the next 3 sets of twins, which is 6, that park mainly from that blue trash can forward currently.
Yes.
If we've been watching for the last couple of weeks, nobody really parks too close to the corner because you'll lose your car come around the corner. I think the 5 makes sense. What I don't get is what's the 2 and then skip and then should I guess the tape would be back and then allow parking, or is it?
No, I don't think so, Tom. It shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like you're explaining in front of the twins, which is really where you want your parking. But in this particular case, we have 5 spots. Your taper's only 50 feet, which is a quick taper, although the speeds are low, so it's not a problem. And the 78-foot left lane for queuing, so you can probably get 5 cars in there that are going to make a dedicated left. I think it's critical to keep the left lane, honestly, because if you're going to have an intersection that is going to unload at peak hours, the concern is to have people, when the light turns red, if they're trying to beat a yellow, they're stuck in the intersection, and then you can't make the left lane. And then you'll have people queuing that want to go straight and right.
Now, I have a question on that. How does that affect if we move on to Springfield Road? What happened there? How's the parking? Do we move to that slide? They're also having a left, correct? As well.
They are, but in that case, which side of Springfield? Seminary?
Turning north, all this going north, turning left, going north on it. From Springfield.
Oh, okay. So there is a dedicated left for that also.
So that light, I'm getting the light. The light is queuing. So what I'm here, I'm trying to get to. You're saying that that's more efficient for the
Yes.
Okay.
To move people out of the intersection so that it's clear for the signal change.
Well, just to clarify, I think before, when you were just talking before, you were referring to going north on Oak Avenue to have that left, right?
I was.
Yeah. Now this is a separate.
Yeah, right.
Springfield.
Yeah, so I'm saying, we're gonna have two. We're gonna have a left on north and a straight on north. From north. They queue different though.
Well, just back up. Springfield, both directions have dedicated left lanes.
Right.
Oak, only heading north, has the dedicated left lane, that's the critical path. That's what we want.
But on a queue, they're all queuing different, right?
Correct. Well, different size length of the queue lane, so more vehicles can fit along the lane. And then the timing of the signal would have to allow for the left to be cleared out before the green switches.
That's the Oak and Springfield. The Springfield. We want to talk about. I mean, I'm trying to get a consensus because JP and I and yourself have to communicate with school districts. So I don't know what.
Yeah, so I think what the recommendation in terms of the North Oak Avenue below Springfield Road was that they have, per our suggestion, shortened the queue length of the left-hand turn lane. And so it would not affect the parking on Springfield Road. The first 2 houses that are there, as you saw in the previous picture from the Google Street View, do have off-street parking. And the observations has been that there is not parking in that area that takes place right now. As you get down to those last 3 sets of twins is where the parking is, because there is not off-street parking for those properties. So by shortening the queue, we've preserved the off-street parking for those residents that are there. The first set of twins has off-street parking, and no one parks there anyway, so we're not as concerned about that. And then going on to Springfield Road, I still think that there's a concern regarding the 8-foot wide parking area.
Yeah.
Yes. That is not sufficient. Because typically a car stall is 18 feet by 10 foot or 20 feet by 10 foot, but at least 10 feet wide for a width of a car.
Compact cars are 9 by 18 now. So that's a typical parking stall, 9 by 18. And this, I believe the measurement on this is 8 feet, which is shown on that.
So I think that's, when last I spoke anyway, I think that was the concern, is that, that the school district is obligated under our agreement to specifically preserve those parking spaces. The extras you see there, I think, are
Drop off.
Yeah, well, the one is driveway, and then I think the other ones are, as you get closer, right to the the cars would stick out into the, the streetlight area.
They will accommodate parking too close to the road.
Too close to
Cars
the
coming
corner.
out on egress.
Right. But I think that's what the request was to go back and somehow, they've got to figure out, how to make that, the parking lane wider. The original discussion with them was that, to invade the sidewalk area a little bit, because it is a very wide sidewalk in that block. I'm sure this is for the engineers. The easy answer is just to propose it at 8 foot, not to invade the sidewalk, and that way they don't have to deal with the property owners. But
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I don't think it would take too much to take a foot out of that sidewalk and have a proper parking width.
I agree, it's very, very wide, you could take easily a foot and add it to the parking of the 8.
One of the, correct me wrong, Rock, when we looked at it in JP, we lose the parking on the south side of it. Right.
Yes.
With that link, with that extra link. That's a PennDOT. I'll bring it back up. In there, because they all have driveways.
Yeah, you lost me, we're lost. What's,
South side of Oak, right there,
yeah,
where Miller's, been around Miller's Real Estate used to be, on the corner where the little wishing well was.
oh, right there.
South side.
Yeah.
That whole side loses parking up to Prospect. Not that most people park there, because you usually use your car. I live on Oak, you lose your car if you park on Oak, so. There is permitted there now, right?
Yeah, permitted parking, but the residents on that stretch of North Oak do have driveways as opposed to the residents on the north side of Oak, southbound traffic don't have any driveways. That's why we're trying to preserve the parking on that side of the street.
So it seems like the consensus is that number 3, JP?
Yeah,
5
yes,
spaces.
yes, to maintain the 5 spaces, yeah. I
John,
can convey that if council wishes. And then I will also discuss what John and I just talked about on Springfield, and making the proper width lane for parking.
Can I speak now or later? I live on Prospect, and I just want to add some observations.
we will have, I think, as soon as we're done this, I think the manager's report will conclude, then the
Okay.
public comment at the end of the meeting will be available. So I guess unless, Cozy, yeah, unless that's what we'll pursue, with the school district and with PennDOT at this point. Subject, again, listen, hear what anybody has to say.
I appreciate I think it's good that we had everybody weighs in on it. I think it's important.
Do we have any other questions or comments?
And that's all my report is.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to accept the manager's report.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Gorman made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Fagioli, second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Any old business?
Yeah, I have one. I just wanted to know for any updates on the meter parking and the parking lots, that's all.
Park Mobile has the contract is signed. I believe the gentleman's supposed to come in and meet with the chief and I next Tuesday, and John, to go around and start looking at it. We applied for, and I believe we have good success going forward, for a $50,000 engineering study, which will also include legal review of all our ordinances that have to do with parking and parking lots. My understanding, pre-me, they used to have fees in different lots and so much for overnight. All those will have to be reviewed and changed out. The preliminary is he's going to look at the lots and start designing the signage for the lots. And they also provide all the notifications, newsletters to the residents. So we'll be working on that. I would say 6 to 8 months it's going to take us probably to get all of it organized into council and a nice newsletter out to explain everything. They do all that as part of their package. So we're looking forward to it coming through. Contract signed, I think, Monday. Send it back on.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, any other old business? Any new business? All right, public participation. Come on up, Mayor.
I can talk loudly.
Okay, just give
State
your
your
name and address.
Name and
Yes,
address.
my name is Mary Doherty, 324 Prospect Avenue in Clifton. So I don't have an opinion about these plans, so you all can decide. But I just want to say, because I live on Prospect, at the end where there is the water tower, when I come out to get to Oak Avenue, sometimes it's difficult, and it's like if I turn right to go down Oak, sometimes people are parking too close to the corner, even though there's a sign that says don't park closer than, this side. If I turn left on the corner, some of you may know, Eleanor, I forget her last name, who's about 90 years old, lives there. And so she can park right on Prospect. And so that's why on Oak, there's nobody parking there. And then, as you say, there are the twin homes. Often there's nobody there, but sometimes there's a whole lot of cars there. I don't know why. Sometimes it's even people who park on Springfield, work on Springfield Road. Many years ago, I was driving down Prospect, doing work in the morning, and this fellow who's parked on Prospect opened his car door and hit me, which he paid for. But he worked on Springfield Road, so sometimes we have a little bit extra parking because of things like that. And I think that sometimes people are just coming down Oak Avenue too quickly, too fast. So, which makes it hard. If I'm turning, right to go down Oak, that's obviously the easiest thing. If I turn left to get out of Oak, I have to look. And if I were to cross over and continue down Prospect Avenue, that's like the most dangerous thing. Anyway, sometimes people park a little too close, and sometimes people speed too much. That's all.
Thank you. Any others would like to do public participation?
Real quick, I gotta get up. West Humphreys 35 Arch Street, Clifton Heights, in front of the stores on Springfield. You talked about taking a foot. Them telephone poles are right there. You're gonna have to probably move those utilities too. We'll just be taking out the curb. If you look at it, there's a picture of from Street View. Go up there and take a look. I don't know how close a telephone pole can be to the street, but if you can get up that curb and take a look.
That's the reason they only want to make it.
There you go. Look at that white car right there.
That's the reason they only want to make it 8 feet.
I know. I'm saying, the poles are right there. I just noticed that. Okay, that was it. That's something
The
else.
chainsaw and an auger can solve that problem, right, Jay?
Yes.
All right.
Any other members of the public? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
All right,
Second it.
all right.
Everybody's.
Both John.
Where's John?
John?